she's quite a vile person, and for someone who sits in the Senate, I think she should hold herself to a higher standard.
I think this man, our lovely King Charles III, I think he has earned the respect of this country by coming year after year after year. They were both wearing these super sunglasses, the King and Queen, and it really looked like they were out in the sunshine.
They look quite cool today, right?
Yeah, they did.
Welcome to the Sun Show Royal exclusive from Sydney Opera House, where earlier, it doesn't really sum the atmosphere up here right now, because earlier we had 8,000 people packed all round the Opera House to welcome the King and Queen. It was their second to last engagement. They've just finished the Naval Fleet Review, so the day is over, the tour is effectively over.
The crowd was so excited, and this Opera House is 50 years old and it still looks as beautiful as when they first built it. And of course the royal couple came down the steps there waving to everybody, so everybody that came so they could saw the King and Queen on their first visit as king to Australia. I'm sad to say this tour has come to an end, because it's been a lot of great people, a lot of lovely engagements, seeing the King working again with Camilla and our lovely Queen Camilla, and I can't tell you, it's this country is something special to this man, and I think it's something special to the Queen as well now.
Well, I think Australia's braced the royals as well, do you not think?
Oh, absolutely.
There was all this talk about any trouble. I've not seen anything about republicanism out here. Obviously, we had the situation in Parliament the other day. I was at the Indigenous Centre earlier, and I think while many people do agree in Australia with her sentiment, they didn't agree with the way that she made her argument about some absolute gentlemen, really nice people at the Indigenous Centre.
It was embarrassing for them, I thought. It was embarrassing for her to do that. It was just not right.
It's very sad that Lidia Thorpe has dominated the coverage in the UK, because she definitely does not represent what the majority of Australians think about the great visit of the King and the Queen, and the way that she took her protest was out of order, and it's very sad that she's disrupted what has been a fantastic visit from the King and Queen to Australia. Yes, it's no surprise to us Australians, because she protests at anything and doesn't use politics in the correct way to get to her end. She voted against the Voice last year, which would have brought a form of treaty for the First Nations people, which is very important, but the King has been extremely gracious about the First Nations people and the need for reconciliation. So he's very aware of all the issues, and the way that she tried to bring that to attention is not correct.
It's very unhelpful, it achieves nothing, and she's quite a vile person, and for someone who sits in the Senate, I think she should hold herself to a higher standard of public debate. Screaming at the King in the Grand Hall of Parliament is not going to solve anything, and it just makes a mockery of our legislature.
Look, that was the only setback I thought the whole time we've been here. As you say, everybody's been, the cheers, the people here today were just so excited to see them. They were absolutely screaming, come, we wanted to see them. Obviously they can't see everybody, but they did their very best to see as many as possible, and they've done that on this whole trip. This man is unbelievably amazing, he's not very well. He cancelled half this tour, but he's stuck with Australia. But he loves his country so much. In a speech he made here, he said, 60 years he's been coming here and he loves his country. I came here with him in 1980, and huge crowds then. And so, but today I think this was the biggest crowd since I was here when he was here with Diana. They came to see Diana because she was an absolute megastar. But here today, it was the King, it was the star. Everybody here was just so pleased to see him. People come up to me saying, it was lovely to see him, looking so well. Tomorrow he goes off to Samoa, and 2 or 3 days there, and finally get home, and I hope he goes back to Balmoral and just puts his feet up for a while.
We saw him shaking hands with lots of people. I actually saw a woman kiss his hand, which was she'd flown all the way from the Philippines, and she kissed his hand and said that she prays for him every night. But it's not just shaking hands. I was at a job earlier. There was an Indigenous Centre, and there was this wonderful man he'd had a very difficult childhood. He's one of the stolen generation in Australia, where people have been taken from their Aboriginal families and they were put into care homes. And it's a real tragedy. But he's a really decent man, and he went to. I've got a quote for you. The King said to him, "Hugs are good," and I'll tell you why. He went up to him and he went to shake his hand, and the chap said, can I give you a hug? Because he believes that the feeling of hugs, the sensation, the comfort and feeling of a hug is so much more important than shaking hands. And the king didn't miss a beat, opened his arms and hugged the man back. That's my highlight of today. But what do you think about that?
Well, I think that's impressive. I think that's really, that just shows the quality of this man.
You were at the barbecue event, weren't you? They got a chance to have a go on the barbecue, and that's what Australians do. There must have been a lot of Australians watching them, the way they were moving the sausages around on the grill, just to check their technique. Maybe. I mean, did they look like they were naturals on the barbecue?
Well, I think he's had years of experience with the Duke of Edinburgh. It was a great one for barbecuing, and I imagine he's been doing that with his own family. But I mean, absolutely. I mean, he came. Then he went over to see this shepherd. Beautiful control of his sheepdogs, and he was so impressed. And one of his sheepdogs was a border collie, and named Meg, which I thought was quite nice. Really? Yeah, but he gave it. You know, he looked lovingly at it. And what I liked, they were both wearing these super sunglasses. The king and queen. They really looked like they were out in the sunshine.
They look quite cool today, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, very good. And you know, we fly back next week, and maybe the clocks go back, and you know, maybe it's going to be a little bit dull. But we're standing here in this beautiful part of Sydney, having a wonderful day, and the sun's shining. And what could be better?
We'll have a quick talk about the Queen as well, because the Queen got a special award. Do you know about this?
No, go on.
She's been given the Order of the Teaspoon.
Oh my God.
This is an event that she went to do with special kitchens and the way that they recycle food and everything like that. But they'd actually packed so much in today. Yesterday we had an alpaca that sneezed on the king.
That's right, yeah.
This time we had a shy parrot.
Oh my God.
We had a very shy parrot at a library. We were waiting for Caesar, the parrot, to talk to the Queen, and she was just about to leave, and just at the right time, Caesar let out a huge hello, and the Queen had a good laugh at that.
The engagements are short and swift, but he's doing a lot of them, and that's really impressive.
It was a short trip, Arthur. Do you think the King and Queen will come back, and do you think that Australia want them to come back?
I think every time I've come here, I think one day they will abandon the monarchy. They will abandon the constitutional monarchy, and they will become a republic. But this time I'm almost certain they won't while our king is with us. I think they realise this man has waited the longest apprenticeship ever for this job, and he's doing a brilliant job. You know, so far he's embraced everything. He's changed things the way he wants to do them. He's made some amazing speeches, which I think he genuinely believes. Where we've been with him, you know, Germany, France, Kenya, same thing. Big crowds come to see him, and I think here, the biggest crowds of all, and we saw it here today.
It's fascinating because everyone had this idea that when the late Queen Elizabeth II passed, there would be many countries like Australia and Canada, etc., that would want to, you know, become a republic and get rid of the king. But do you get the sense, as I get the sense here, that any idea that they might, you know, want to leave has kind of been dispelled by the fact that people came out, they liked them. We kind of got the feeling that people were quite happy with the king. And I'd add into that this poll. There was a poll done on a local newspaper that said that 50% of Australians thought the king was doing very well at his job, and that was higher than the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister.
When he became Prime Minister, one of his ministers he made to form a republic, you know, a minister to sort of to end the monarchy. I've noticed since then he's cancelled him. He's been sacked. So I imagine that he's got the mood as well that this country doesn't want that. I think this man, our lovely King Charles III, I think he has earned the respect of this country by coming year after year after year and coming here and just embracing the country, embracing the culture. I wish he'd have put the Kubra hat on, but that would have really made him look a right Aussie, but he didn't. But you never know, he might wear it someday soon if it fits.
They couldn't have really done any more.
No, they couldn't.
They couldn't have done any more. And I think Australia embraced them, and they embraced Australia.
They did,
really
and
nice.
they did.
You did mention about no mishaps. We did have a brief mishap a little bit earlier. We've been waiting for the fly past. It was going to be the exciting part with 8,000 crowd here cheering the fly past after the King and Queen left. I don't know what happened. It came very late, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was very noisy, but it came a little bit late. We were hoping to catch it on film.
I was expecting something like the Red Arrows, and 20 helicopters went by, and I thought, and I actually said, "Is that it?" But that was it, you know. And we missed the I was expecting smoke coming out all over imagine this great picture coming over the Opera House, but it didn't happen.
But apart from that, Australia were incredible hosts, and they put on an amazing show.
Absolutely, and most important, the people loved them. They loved them. Everything has been so positive. Kurt Gill's curtsying to him, people sort of screaming, "We love you! Come back, come back!" I mean, yesterday at the Parliament building, people were having signs up, "We love you, Camilla. We love you, Queen Camilla." It was incredible. And people were travelling hundreds of miles to come and see them. It wasn't just people in Sydney, people in Canberra. They were travelling 200-300 miles to come here today to see their king.
And we came all this way to see.
And we came a lot further.
Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the setting. As I say, they're just packing up here now at Sydney Opera House. It's celebrating 50 years, and today was a massive highlight, I think, maybe for the Opera House with the King and the Queen and the 8,000 people here celebrating. But this is our final show in Australia. I hope you've watched. We have met quite a few fans out here. We tried to say hello if you called us over, but we're very appreciative of all our fans in Australia. Royal Exclusive will return in the studio. Thanks for watching.